Wednesday evening, December 15th, 2021, the Plaza Board of Trustees unanimously passed a resolution, parts of which I will read. Whereas Lee Seeman, as councilwoman of the town of North Hempstead, has provided outstanding representation since 2005 for the villages of Great Neck Plaza, Great Neck Estates, Russell Gardens, Lake Success, University Gardens, and Saddle Rock, as well as other unincorporated areas and communities in the town, such as Garden City Park, North New Hyde Park, and Floral Park. And whereas Councilwoman Seeman has been a committed and invaluable member of the Great Neck and North Hempstead communities for numerous decades, as demonstrated by her many activities and achievements, including the following. She has been program director of the Great Neck Chamber of Commerce since 1975. She is a member of the town's COVID-19 Business Recovery Response Workshop. She was appointed by President William Jefferson Clinton and reappointed by President George W. Bush to serve as a member of the United States Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad. She was instrumental in establishing one of the largest cemetery monuments in Poland, which is dedicated to those who perished in the Holocaust. She has been a trustee of the W.F. Albright Institute for Archaeological Research in Jerusalem, and she has been a long-time and valued member of groups such as the League of Women Voters, the Sierra Club, the NAACP, and the World Jewish Congress. And whereas Councilwoman Seeman is scheduled to retire at the end of 2021, skipping ahead, whereas the Village Board of Trustees agrees that Councilwoman Seaman's many years of public service and achievement are eminently deserving of such an honor as having a street designated as a secondary honorary name for her, whereas the Village of Great Neck Plaza desires to acknowledge and honor Councilwoman Seaman's long history of service to and advocacy for the Great Neck and North Hempstead communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the portion of Bond Street in the Village of Great Neck Plaza, located between Grace Avenue over there and Maple Drive, just to our north, be given the honorary secondary street designation of Lee Seeman Way. The resolution was unanimously approved and signed by our village clerk, Patricia O'Byrne. Today, I also signed a proclamation dated today, which I will not read the entire document, but the critical part is, now therefore, it is hereby proclaimed that Sunday, December 19, 2021, is and shall be Lee Seeman Day in the Village of Great Neck Plaza. Now, me, I have good news and bad news. The good news to that proclamation is, since it's a day that's named in your honor, you are allowed to park free on the streets of Great Neck Plaza today, any way you want. The not so good news, we don't charge for parking on Sundays. And now, I would ask our Deputy Mayor Pam Marshite to present the resolution and the proclamation. And now I am privileged to call upon some of our guests here today to share with us some brief remarks about the Honorable Lee Seeman. And I'd like to bring up to the podium the Honorable Tom DiNapoli, Comptroller of the State of New York, who has been for many years an outstanding public servant.
Good afternoon, everyone. Isn't this a great day? It is a great day indeed. Lee, we're celebrating you. Let me just say, first of all, to Mayor Ted Rosen and the Great Neck Plaza Village Board, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is such the right thing to be doing, and we really appreciate the fact that you stepped up, and we all wanted Lee to be honored in some way. I do want to acknowledge Fran and Irv Epstein and Robert Zimmerman, who really worked with the village to come up with this idea. Of course, I think, as many of you know, the one person who objected to this is right here, as late as 10 o'clock this morning with a frantic phone call to me. But here she is. And I hope you are understanding and feeling the affection, the respect, the admiration, the love that this community has for you. Lee Seeman Way, your way has been one of being there for all of us. The mayor went through all of the organizations you've been involved in, and that only captures a brief sense of what spirit you brought to giving back to the community. Your wonderful family knows it well. They've supported you over the years. I think of Murray, when you were the First Lady of Great Neck Estates, you pardon the expression, Mayor of Great Neck Plaza, and how fortunate we are in the Plaza that here you are, living right here. And you'll be able to see this honor for you each and every day, and be reminded that although you were selfless in your dedication and your community work, it did not go unnoticed, it did not go unrecognized. Not just your elected service, but certainly all the other ways you've been involved. And I love the fact that when I first moved to Great Neck, I was in that building there, 4 Maple, so I feel very attached to Lee Seeman Way, for that reason. And it wasn't mentioned, this is a great ceremony. You did a little bit of work for the Democratic Party along the way too, I'm told, right? And thank you for that on behalf of myself and many others. Let's recognize that. So, you want to hear from others, it's cold out, but just Lee, for me personally, I think everybody knows you have been, such an incredible person in my life. I remember when I first ran for the Assembly. By the way, Lee didn't support me for the nomination. Just, not that I remembered that, but I forget things like that. But Lee said to me, I was telling the story to someone this morning, we're going to make sure that you get elected. And from when the convention ended, we knocked on every door that we could find from Kings Point through New Hyde Park. You were there every step of the way, through my assembly work. When I ran for county exec, I don't think about that too much these days. certainly being controller. Lee has been a mainstay for me. She's been a surrogate mother. She's been a big sister. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me personally. I think each of us here have our own stories about how you've touched their lives. But the fact that the community is respecting you. I remember, I'll just wrap up with this. Some of you remember Lee Carlin and the Great Neck Records. She did that series, the Grand Dames of Great Neck. Remember that? Now, you were too young then, I think, to be a Grand Dame, so you weren't acknowledged as such. But you know what? This is even better than being recognized as one of the Grand Dames of Great Neck. This is really the heart of this community embracing you and giving you back a little bit for what you gave to all of us. Thank you, Lee Seeman, for being who you are and what you've done. Thank you, thank you, and thank you, Mayor Rosen.
Our next speaker has been the supervisor of the town of North Hempstead since 2014, and she's retiring this year. The supervisor has led the town with excellence, skill, dedication. Skill and dedication, distinction and honor. To me, however, She has always been a fellow student at Queens College, way back in the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Supervisor of the Town of North Hempstead, Judi Bosworth.
Thank you, Mayor Ted. Let's hear it for Lee Seeman. What an amazing day this is. And I know Tom spoke so beautifully, and Ted did as well, and I know others will. But Lee is one of a kind. And I have had the great honor and privilege, Lee, of working with you in so many ways. But my most favorite, I will tell you, is working with you as you're being the best town council person that this area has ever seen. I'm not saying anything bad about the others, but you were just, I have to be so careful, but you were just so amazing. Lee, you always had the right thing to say at the right time. Not only that, you were such a fierce advocate, not only for the people of this district, but for all the people of the town of North Hempstead. There wasn't an issue that you didn't get involved in, that we didn't look to you for your sage advice, and we're so grateful to you. So I will say, on a personal note, I will always be grateful to Lee. I know that Ted mentioned her work with cemeteries in Europe. Lee went to Poland, and Lee saw the dedication of the cemetery to acknowledge the Jewish people that were killed in the Holocaust in Riga. And I will tell you that my aunt and my uncle were two of those people who were shot and thrown into nameless graves. And it was the most wonderful thing for me to know that Lee was there overseeing that dedication, making sure that all of those people who died such hideous and tragic and senseless deaths would now be acknowledged and remembered forever. So Lee, for all that you've done, I will tell you that the next council person has big shoes to fill, and I don't just mean by the height of the heel. I'm sure we all remember Lee's heels. Lee, you've led the way. It's so fitting that this is being called Lee Seeman Way, because we'd all benefit from following the great model and all the amazing things that you've done. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. I love you.
Now, of all the people that are gathered here today, there's only one person out there to whom I write several checks a year, and that's our next speaker. So it's my privilege to call up the Honorable Charles Birnbaum, the receiver of the town of North Hempstead.
All right, good morning, and thank you, Mayor. It's such an honor to be here today to honor Lee Seeman. Lee is someone that I've personally known since I was 17 years old.
Holly, take your mask off when you speak.
Back in 1972, I remember when the Democrats were organizing to march in Washington to stop the war in Vietnam, and my mother and Lee were at the forefront of organizing that and arranging for the bus for all of us to go to Washington. And as you know, Lee has been an icon in our party and in our government for many, many years. She's also highly respected by everyone, even across the aisle. I remember going to Ohiki Castle with Lee one night, and Joe Mandela was there with all the Republican organizations, and they all came over to pay their respects to Lee. And the last time Lee decided to run, the only thing she was really concerned about was that somebody would run a negative campaign against her. So she went to talk to Joe Mandela. And Mandela promised Lee that nobody would run a negative campaign against Lee. And that actually did happen. So Lee is so highly respected by everybody in our party and government and in this county. She has given so much to all of us, and it is really appropriate for this street to be named after her, and that for her name to be there in perpetuity. So congratulations, Lee. I love you. We all love you, and we want you to enjoy your retirement.
Our Our next speaker is a good friend of Lee's for many years, and he has been very instrumental in putting this day together and making this possible. I'd like to call up Robert Zimmerman.
Can we just give it up with a big round of applause for Murray Seeman, the Seeman children, the Seeman grandchildren, and the great-grandchildren. And I say that for a special reason, because in my youth, the Seamans could have taken me off as a tax deduction. I was there so often. For people like Tom DiNapoli and myself, going to Lee Seaman's home was always a tremendous experience. First of all, being with Murray was like being with a master class on archaeology and history in the world. And being with Lee was always inspiring because her homes were always places that brought people together with great programs and discussions and opened my eyes to a world that I had never seen. Plus, she always fed me. The food was always great. I set up the bridge chairs, was a great deal. But it was important, though, for my life. And for so many young people, Lee, you brought us into a belief in a world bigger than our own. You gave us a sense that our voices and our dreams and our visions really mattered. And so, Lee, when we talk about honoring you today with this street, we're recognizing not just the greatness of our community, but the future of our community. Because your leadership, your kindness, your vision has shown us all the way. So we dedicate Lee Seaman Way in honor of not just Lee's great contributions, but also in honor of Lee's great vision for our future and the great leadership you're going to continue to show for all of us. We're so proud of you, Lee. Love you, and thank you for a lifetime.
Our next speaker has served in the Nassau County Legislature representing the 10th District for a number of years. I believe it's been 4 terms, if I'm not mistaken. And she is someone who has always been there to help our village, and I know all of the villages in this area, and to also help all of her constituents. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Ellen Birnbaum.
It is so great to be here and to see all my friends. I call you that because you are the people who have been active in the community, the people I think of when it comes to who wants to make our community, our Great Neck, a better place. And the Dom, I will call Lee Seaman the Grand Dom of Great Neck, because to me, you are Miss Great Neck. I've been here for over 40 years, and when I first arrived in Great Neck, I lived on Grace Avenue. So this was sort of my neighborhood too. I was a resident of the Plaza, and I got involved in the community. I got involved in politics, and I will evoke a name that means a lot to Lee, Julie Ullman, right? Julie Ullman was very involved, and I met him, and I soon after became a Democratic committee person. And I was working with Lee Seaman then. I remember the same as Tom, going over to her house. It was always such a warm environment, and you never knew what Murray would talk to you about. He did come up with the most arcane topics and very intellectual. It was a pleasure to be there. And Lee and I built a friendship, I will call it that. You've been a friend of mine over the years, but more than a friend, a mentor. I've really learned so much from you. But let's go back to the friendship part. This is a person who loves to go to lunch. Who doesn't? I do. This is someone who loves to shop. I do too. We've really hit it off, and over the years, we've been to many lunches together, we've shopped together, we've talked together. Lee cares so much about people, and if there's something that bothers her, she'll call me and go, Ellen, I need to talk to you about this. And we'll talk, and a lot of times I calm her down because she gets very emotional about little things, but to Lee, everything is so important, and she really cares greatly about people. And if there's something that's going on, an issue, we talk it through, and we make it work. We come to a resolution, and I know you always feel much better, I do, when we chat and we have our little talks. But you have done so much in your lifetime, and I come with a proclamation citation as well from the county. Not going to read it because you know all the organizations she's been involved with. But more than that, you are my friend, and I'm so honored that this is taking place, the ceremonial naming of this street. Lee's apartment is right there with the flag. She can look across and see it. So it's the perfect recognition for somebody who deserves this honor. So thank you, Lee, for all that you have done.
Our next speaker has proven in the short time that she has been in office that she is a strong supporter and advocate for the Great Neck community and the village of Great Neck Plaza in particular, as well as the other villages. I am pleased to call up New York State Assemblywoman Gina Saletti.
So I was thinking of stories about Lee, and my absolute favorite is during Superstorm Sandy. And every day, we would all gather in Supervisor John Kamen's office, and we would kind of go around and getting, on-the-ground reports from different department heads and whatever. And all of a sudden, we get to Lee. She'd be like, "Hello, it's Lee Seeman, reporting from New Hyde Park." And Lee, and how long ago was this? 8 years ago? 9 years ago? Not that long ago. In her heels, knocking on doors all over her district to make sure her residents were okay. I don't know of anybody else who would do something like that. Just not even at her age, but she was out there with the wires down and the trees down, and I'll never forget those phone calls. "Hello, it's Lee Seeman reporting from Great Neck, reporting from New Hyde Park." And to Lee, it was always about the people she served. And, we have so many elected officials here today, and all of us can look to what Lee has done in her lifetime and think that's the kind of elected I want to be, that's the kind of person I want to be, in service to my community and to our country, and you're just amazing, and I love you so much.
Our next speaker is someone that I have had the honor and privilege to serve with and work with for many years. She had been the mayor of our village for many years, and during that time, she's always served with honor, dedication, and vision. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Jean Salinger, former mayor of the village of Great Neck Plaza.
Lovely. How beautiful you look. I want to thank Mayor Rosen and the Board of Trustees for bestowing Lee with this honor. Everyone has spoken about, and there's a long list of accomplishments in her elected life and in her private life as a volunteer on many organizations serving the community. Having this honorary street designation is the most deserving honor for you, Lee. And it gives me a smile, and I hope that it's something that over time you'll come to accept. I know you didn't want to have this because it was mentioned that you didn't, but it's really beautiful and something that really is great for a woman of your caliber of work, your personality, how you go about treating people with love and respect and dignity and honor. These are all the kinds of things that I would hope that I could lead and other people could lead in their life, because it's something to be honored. That's to be honored as well. So thank you, Lee, for all your good work over the years, and I hope that this is something you will enjoy, and your family as well.
The next speaker has been a longtime friend to Lee, and has been serving as a member of the New York State Board of Regents, the Honorable Roger Tillis.
It's very cold. I'm not going to mention that I've known Lee pretty much my whole life, and Murray and my uncle Rube Kershaw, the former mayor of Lake Success, were partners, and I love this woman, and she has been involved with as Democratic leader in Great Neck since 1955. Wow. Which she was minus 30 years old at the time. But I can tell you that without Lee and without Tom and without Lee pushing Tom, I wouldn't be a regent. So I'm grateful to her, and I'm hoping that the kids of New York are grateful to you as well. Hopefully we're making a difference, and the difference starts with people like, and actually not just like, but the person of Lee Seeman. So I'm glad, as a resident of Great Neck since 1946 until very recently, that Lee was here, and she has introduced me to people like Hillary Clinton and so many others. She's brought them all to our community and then made Great Neck a much richer place. And so I thank you for myself and for the community and for the kids of New York. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to call up to the podium the lady about whom we are here today, the Honorable I'm going to ask my wife to come up with a special presentation.
So I want to thank the community for working with me. I love working with you, helping you, and doing anything that I can do. So it's called Lee Seeman's Way. And I'm so proud of it. But my way is to go on working. I'll be there. I'm not going away.